Good afternoon, and welcome to the New Orleans TV Internet Network System. I slept up morning because I was pre-talking to our guest who's in the Big Island of Hawaii, and there it's in the morning time. So we're cross time zones, folks. Again, we're happy to bring you again this afternoon a new live 1 hour show. It's one of our old time favorites. We'll be announcing it momentarily. And the big key here is that it'll come on right on the hour. But the live chat and comment is available. You can start doing that if you like among yourselves, if you want to say who's out there. Or don't forget if you have a question or comment that you'd like us to address during the show. So that's there for you on your platform. It'll show your name, whichever name you're using, and the logo of the platform, so we'll know where it's coming from. So don't hesitate to think about something that you might want to ask our guest or myself, or even make a comment how wonderful something is. Okay. Let's see what else I need to tell you. Like the whole time, but it's good. This is the time we always try and get all that information out of the situation. Again, we're live on 3 different Facebook profiles for now. 3 because we're waiting for LinkedIn to let us go live instead of posting after recorded. So under Bob Bockelman, the main one, under New Orleans TV Internet Network System, the one we're looking at our station, and under the New Deal, which very few people know unless you're in New Orleans. That used to be my dinner club when I was on TV with the first show. Okay. Besides that, of course, we're on YouTube channel REVUE. And please, if you are watching YouTube, or even if you don't watch YouTube, go ahead in there and just subscribe. I really need the subscription numbers. I need to get those up there so we can continue broadcasting. I think, hoping if you've seen any of these shows, we do a pretty good job of bringing quality programming to you. And we have quite a variety with the 15 shows in total. With some of them haven't been launched yet, but 1 or 2 are coming down the pike this week or next week, excuse me. So that'll be new ones for you as well as our existing staff. And I'm going to give my throat a rest for a second. Again, you're watching the New Orleans TV Internet Network System, and we'll be broadcasting live in 2 minutes. You see, we've got our little clock up there for you, the countdown clock, so you can see. We already got a Periscope visit. Thank you. Welcome, Mr. Periscope. Ms. Sorry, Periscope. I love the Periscope logo. It's black and white, but it looks like an eye. I guess it's supposed to be an eye looking through a Periscope. It's like one of the national television companies' logo. Hopefully, it's not too similar. Anyway, we got a couple people coming on Periscope. Periscope really doing well. I'm so glad. We just added it Saturday, and it is, for those people who don't know, it is Twitter Live, or Twitter, excuse me, it's called Twitter TV. But Twitter bought Periscope and has moved most of its live video programming to Periscope. We also post after the fact on Twitter, but lately it's also been showing the live broadcast on Twitter Direct. So just another platform in case you don't watch Periscope and you watch Twitter. There you go. We're here for you. Okay, we've got about 1 minute. You're on the New Orleans television or TV Internet Network System. We'll be back shortly. Good afternoon and welcome to Artist Review. Our second oldest program, going back to 2000 and I think it's 10, maybe a little earlier, 2010. We were on cable TV. Featuring artists. Now we're able to feature artists from around the globe, and couldn't get one more around the globe today other than our guest today. We're going to go ahead and let you, there you go, see my old Boker, and tell you you've got a very versatile artist today. A lot of them do change from one, but mostly stay in the same media, maybe change their style, etc. But this gentleman we're going to show you is in three different aspects of art. So things that don't look related at all. Ooh, excuse me, sorry about that. Don't need that. I apologize for that. All right, let me go ahead. Here we go, and we're ready to introduce our guest. And it's Scott Gorrell. Gorrell or Gorrell? I messed it up already. What is it, Scott? Do you hear me? Oh, my fault. There you go. There you go. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
There we go. I forgot to unmute your mic. Sorry about that. I'm too old to remember all these little steps. Anyway, tell us again. What island? We said it's the Big Island. Is that the actual name of the island? Hawaii.
Yeah, it's called the Big Island by locals. It's the official name is the Island of Hawaii. It's we got the island of Kauai to the north, Oahu,
right?
Maui, Molokai, and Molokai.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, were you born there, or how'd you get there, and anything about your personal life you wish to share?
Well, I was actually born in Tucson, Arizona.
All right.
And my family moved to Steamboat Springs, Colorado. My dad was a ski instructor there. He's been a saddle maker most of his life, but he was a ski instructor for the duration of his life there, and taught skiing and steamboat while they were making saddles. And then when I graduated from art school, the Denver, Colorado Institute of Art, Denver, Colorado, and moved up to Alaska. And I was a commercial artist, a commercial graphic artist in Alaska, in Juneau, Alaska. And
you really make it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I moved around a bit. I got to make sure they're nice places to live, though. They've all been beautiful places to live.
I'm not sure about Alaska. It might be pretty, but too cold.
Yeah, it is.
Did you go to Paradise right after Alaska, or was there another place in between?
That's correct. I moved to Hawaii after Alaska.
Excellent.
I've been in Hawaii for about 25 years now. I moved here.
Wow. You've been there a while. So you know the turf. Very good. Very good. Okay, listen, tell us, we always like to know how you got in, how did you know you were an artist, even if you didn't know you were an artist? How did you get an inkling that you wanted to do something in the art vein?
Well, I enjoyed drawing when I was a kid, and my dad is a saddle maker, and a very fine saddle maker, doing the leather carving and such, and very fine artist himself, and kind of inspired me into it. I was very interested in comic strips. I wanted to be a comic strip artist when I was a kid.
Doesn't every kid?
Yeah, either an astronaut, a fireman, or a comic artist.
Yeah, exactly. Well, fantastic. And again, once you get that, I think the graphic design job, that really started perfecting some of your technological skills, as well as your creativity in your mind. So that's fantastic. Anything else you want to tell us about yourself? If not, we want to take a look, of course, at some of the stuff you brought us. And I know before we go to the pictures, the audience can see, hopefully, that little scrolling ticker tape. It's where you can see his art and also contact him for questions or how much they cost or anything you want to know about it. Why don't you tell?
We have a cat in front of our screen.
I saw it run behind. Anyway, tell us, even for people with bad eyes like myself, what is your website address again for those? Okay,
my website is www.scottgorellart.com. And you can see, yep. Well, currently I'm doing paper sculptures, and you can see the paper sculptures that I'm doing there in the fine art line. I'm not doing so much commercial art anymore, but
and that's
my work.
Spell his name with 2 T's in the Scott, 2 R's, and 2 L's in Gorrell. So he's got he's got alliteration there a lot, making it easy for you. All right, let's go ahead and can we put the cat down on the
Yep. Anyway, we got a dog below us here too, so we gotta make sure she doesn't jump on the dog.
You don't mind. Oh my goodness, that's all we need. All right, let's. What I want to do now is let me go ahead and make sure I do this right, so I can bring up our first picture. Ah, there we go. There we go. Now let me bring back to you. All right. Now what do I do? All right. There we go. Look at this, folks. It is beautiful. Now, tell us again tell us first of all the process you're doing here, because it's in a lot of our early stages of our paintings or sculptures. Tell us what it is, this process.
Okay, this is it's a paper sculpture. It's what it is. It's relief sculpture. It's wall hangable. You can hang it on the wall, but it does come out from the base. It does stick out from the base. Usually about
like got a 3D projection. Go ahead.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
So this one is the last piece I did. I finished it right after the coronavirus lockdown, so it's not even made it to the frame store yet. It's sitting in the house here, waiting to go to the frame store, and then it'll go onto the gallery from there. The gallery it's going to is the Dreams of Paradise Gallery in Hilo. But this one it's the largest piece I've done so far. This one was about 40 inches by 60 inches tall.
Wow, I'm glad you did. I was going to ask you if you did give us the size, because again, such a big topic or subject for it to be squeezed into a little small. So I think you're really doing it justice, not only from the actually efficacy of the visuals, but also the dimension by giving it that oversized 3D. I think it just sounds fantastic. Really. Now, do you title any of your work? I'm not asking you to create a title. I'm just asking, do you title any of it or no?
Well, I tend to, the gallery owner, Dreams of Paradise, she likes to title them. And she usually gives them titles, and I just kind of bring her the pieces, and then she sticks a title on them.
No problem. Well, sometimes it means more to folk to have it. They don't, just like getting a dog. If they buy it from get it from the pound or something, obviously it comes with a name. They're probably not going to keep it, but they like to know it has the name already. So anyway, let's go back to us, and we're going to move on to our second sculpture of the day. Okay, 1 second. Here we go. All right, let me bring it up.
Oh,
there we go. Oh, wow. Going from below the waters to the tops of the skies. Go ahead.
Yes, this is an eo. An eo is a Hawaiian hawk. It's the hawk native to Hawaii.
How is that spelled?
I-O.
Oh, I-O. Okay.
I-O.
All right.
And anyway, this one. Let's see. This was. I think I did this one. I guess this was my the one I did prior to the whale that you just showed.
One of your more recent work. And how about? Again, it's the same process, that 3D paper sculpture. Let me ask you a dumb question, because somebody says, when I told someone about this, they said, "Oh, you mean origami?" And I said, "No, origami is creating 3D, but in a matter of, I think, folding paper, as opposed to here you're sculpting paper." Is that correct? Or am I being real naive about it?
Right. Origami is, I enjoy doing origami. That's partly what got me into this. I enjoyed doing origami when I was a kid. And I'd often thought about working origami into my artwork. I never got around to doing that, but this is actually cutting paper, cutting and shaping the cut paper.
I felt fairly confident what I was saying, but I wanted to make sure the audience doesn't go away with the idea, "Oh, that's folded paper origami." It started sculpted or cut paper to bring down. Again, how about size on this one, approximate? Do you recall?
This one is approximately, about 26 inches by 36 inches approximately.
That's close enough. Again, just an idea. Again, it's hard to tell. It's always hard to tell from it. And is that a frame on it or a mat, that beige border?
Oh, this is in the picture, that is matte. It is a frame piece. And this piece actually is kind of a fundraiser piece. A friend of mine,
charity donation. Yeah.
Oh, good.
A charitable donation. That's what that is.
Yeah, to a friend of mine. Her husband was killed in a car accident, and her daughter is my goddaughter, and so the sale of this piece goes to my friend and my goddaughter.
Good, congratulations. Let's move on. All right, now here is this. This one is really intriguing because the bird is staring right at. Now, is that the same bird, or it almost looks like an owl with those eyes, but not the wings necessarily? Is that the same owl bird? Oh no.
This is a pueo, P-U-E-O, and that is the native owl in Hawaii.
It is an owl, yeah. It really, those eyes are distinctively like an owl. So that's why I said, I wondered this, since I didn't know the first bird, I said, I wondered maybe we couldn't see because the other was more of a profile. But this is stunning. This is really stunning. I love it. And can you tell us, I was talking, what's the actual name of it again, of the bird?
Pueo, that's P-U-E-O. And it's the Hawaii. It's in Hawaii. It's the native owl to Hawaii.
Great, and I love the way you did. I presumably double matting on here because that extra color really brings out the whole spectrum of the bird in the background. So I think whoever did the framing or the matting was really good in choosing the charcoal gray on the outer mat and then the burgundy, and I'm using raw terms. For the inner mat, because it really adds to the dimension. Now this one, and I think I want to clarify for everyone, not all of your sculptures are actually 3D. Is that right? And is that
no? They are all 3D. They all are. They're all 3D. They average about 1.5 to 2 inches. Like I say, framing. They have to be framed in a shadow box frame.
Right.
And so the shadow box has to be about 2.5 inches deep to cover them.
I got it. But this one, for some reason, maybe because it's the recess by having the double matting, it doesn't look as like it's projecting as much as the one previously. But it's you don't need it because it's just so attractive to see the detail on the face and of course on the feathers as well. But those eyes are just riveting, really fantastic. All right, I'm gonna move on. Now here's another. Now this is one in full. I guess it's full flight or landing. I'm not sure. Now again, is this the same bird? Oh no.
Yeah. This is the pueo again, the Hawaiian owl, and this one's just called pueo hunting. And this one actually, let's see, for 2018, it won the Hawaii Nei art contest in Hilo, Hawaii. Got first place in the Hawaii Nei art contest for 2018. And this one is about 30. This one's a little larger. This one's about 30 by 40 inches. Yeah, or 40 inches wide, 30 inches high. And yeah. Oh, and then side note, you were talking about the matting. I do my own matting. The matting is integrated into the art piece itself. So I have a mat cutter, and I cut my own mats and integrate the mats into the piece.
Well, that tells that. And again, this one, I think it's because the wingspan is so broad that it exceeds the inner mats. Really makes the pronounced 3D effect. And maybe I'm realizing that the one before, because it was all contained within the smaller portion, that it didn't have as pronounced a three-dimensional look as this one and the other one. So this is really a great looking one. So, all right, let's see what else we got here. Look. Oh, there is a little more typical bird. I guess we call it we call it owl. Is this the same type owl, or is this more standard?
This one is called the saw-whet owl. Saw-whet owls are a common owl throughout throughout Canada and the northern U.S. and excuse me. Okay. Anyway, it's this was a commission piece for someone that lives in Washington State. So you have the pine trees, the pine cone, the pine trees, and the setting for this one. So this one is a little bit smaller. Again, this one's about 20 by 30 inches.
Okay, I'm going to bring up one of our commenters, T. Hooper. There's a wonderful question. Thank you very much. Is it Hooper or Hoopez?
Sorry, Hoops. That's my sister.
Oh, okay. Asking us, can you tell us about how many hours does it take to complete a piece on the average? That's a wonderful question.
Well, that's that. Yep, it really depends upon the subject matter, how much detail goes into them. They are. It is a fairly time-consuming process.
It's got to be.
Yep. The sketches themselves, I take several days on the sketches themselves because it's I work from contour drawings that I then trace upon the paper that I'm cutting into the shape, and so that's got to be just right. And then once I start cutting out the pieces, it takes probably an average of 2 to 3 months to do a piece.
That makes sense. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't think anything less than that. Did you tell us about the approximate size on this one, being more vertical and the others horizontal?
Right. This one's about 20 by approximately 20 by 30 inches.
Okay. Nice size. Really nice because they have the vertical perspective instead of the horizontal. Very introspective. The owl again, focused. Those eyes always tell you that they're thinking of something much more intense than what they're looking at. I think.
The owl look. Yeah.
So anyway, well, we appreciate that question, no matter who came, because it was, I think, a darn good one. I think most people would want to know exactly how long, and it's like you say, impossible to tell. But I think 3 months ought to be fairly indicative of a relatively small to moderate piece that's not as intricate as some of the others. Now, what do we have here? What bird is this?
Okay, once again, this is the pueo, the Hawaiian owl, and this was the first Hawaiian owl I actually did. This one, and it took me a little longer because I was kind of figuring out the pattern of the feathers and such on the bird. Anyway, it's so this is a pueo in a koa tree. The koa has this long those long narrow type leaves like that. And this one is about 30 by 40 inches again.
Very nice.
It's good.
I said very basic, but I think very nice. Especially having the black background, I think it really brings it out. So, again, folks, take advantage of like the young person just did, and asking our artist any question. Hopefully, it's something reasonable for him to explain. But now this is something. Is this some type of egret or stork? I know it's going to be a Hawaiian name or something that we won't recognize, but I love the dimensions because it's so sleek compared to the fullness of the owls. What type bird is this, please?
This is called the Koa'ekea. That's the Hawaiian name, and it's a tropic. It's called the white-tailed tropic bird, and this one is familiar to people that live along along coastal areas in the tropic areas. It is, it's pretty much worldwide throughout the tropic coastal areas, and we have them here mostly on the island of Hawaii, the northernmost island, but you see them on the other islands as well. But this one. Oh, this piece. Okay. This piece is probably about 30 inches by 30 inches, and so it's the Koa'ekea.
Well, very dramatic, I think. So I really like it because it's very sleek and just different than the other. Again, not having the fun in the black and white. Now, here's something I think a lot of people are going to be able to equate to it. Certainly think of it as certainly wrong one. Here we go, Bob. Come on. Sorry about that, folks. See there, but there it is. This looks like some type of sailboat, and that's what you think. I think of Kon-Tiki. We had to read that book in high school or grammar school. It came from high school, probably. And I'll never forget it, sailing across that Pacific. And I always think of an imaginary view of something like this. We're going to a minor sailboat. Tell us what this is, please.
Okay, this is called the Hokulea. Now, the Kon-Tiki, that was based upon the theory that the Hawaiians and the Polynesians traveled from South America and moved towards the west.
Right.
Hokulea was built in around 1976, 74, 76, thereabouts, and it was built by the Hawaiians themselves, and to prove that they were actually navigators, and they came from the eastern islands, southeast, and migrated out of the southeast. They have since sailed this sailing canoe, the Hawaiian sailing canoe, around the world. A couple of years ago, they did the Malama Honua voyage about 3 or 4 years ago, which lasted about 3 years. It set off from Hawaii, then sailed towards the west, down towards Tahiti, then towards Asia, Africa, towards the U.S., around to South America, and back to Hawaii again. And but anyway, it has been kind of the
symbol.
It's just been the pride of Hawaii. It proves that Hawaiians did sail themselves. They knew they were able to.
All navigation was done by the stars and the sun, things like that. It was done also to prove that they did not have and did not need mechanical navigation.
Navigate, right, exactly.
We would have now with GPS and all that stuff.
Well, what I like about it, though, and I'm sure this wasn't intentional, but the sleek lines it's very dramatic, the vertical and the linear, and then they have your background, which is all instead of being like clouds, is also, so it's very art, to me, it's got an Art Deco appeal, which would make it much more contemporary, even without the background story that could be used in any type of setting. So I just really think this is a dramatic piece, not different from well, it is different because most of the others have been animal life as opposed to something man created. Did you give us an estimate on the size of this about? Because this would be lovely if it's got a little height on it, I think.
Right. This one is 30 by 40 inches.
Oh, right. Yeah, I think that is definitely a great size for the dimension. All right, now I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, the background you were commenting on the background, and that is called kapa cloth in Hawaii, tapa cloth throughout Polynesia, and that is the native Polynesian art form where they make a bark, kind of a bark type of a cloth, and it was used in ceremonial and garments and such throughout Polynesia.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, now this is going to be one of my favorite enamels, I guess. And I call it Moby Dick Escapes. Albino whale. I mean, it looks like it's totally left everything behind it, the frame, everything, the water bubbles. You really have so much detail in here, which are going to those kind of things, the little air bubbles, and the look on the face, the eyes. So anything you want to add to this? I just really think this is again a very, very dramatic piece.
Well, this is a humpback whale, and it's I'm not quite sure. You pretty well covered it. So, let's see.
How about size? So we're back to horizontal landscape.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty much one of my signature pieces, and that I use it on my business card, on my Facebook page and such. It's kind of, yeah, it's one that I use quite often for my.
Yeah, for your business, I can certainly see why. I think it's very dramatic and got to lure attention. And for it to be predominantly just black and white, even though it might have some touches of color, because again, it adds a little more of the drama to it. Okay, let's move now. Here we go. Now, this is the first time we're actually going to see close up a human in one of your one of your sculptures. Go ahead.
This is Leadward Kapapana. Leadward is a very local, a very well-known local and very popular slack key musician. Slack key is the style of tuning that Hawaiian music uses. And anyway, so Leadward Kapapana is just an excellent musician, and if you ever get a chance to hear his music, I strongly recommend that you listen to it.
Could you
invited to Smithsonian as well, with the type of music that he plays.
This is my dad you're listening to here. I got my dad in here. He's the saddle maker.
You got to realize that we can't jump from one to another because we don't know what's going. It sounds like bubble background. Let's. Could you give me just an idea? And I'm not trying to draw an analogy, but so the people would know a little bit more. Would it be like a country western type song or blues? Or I mean, obviously it's solo or with just all acoustical stuff. But is there any equation, any other category of music?
Well, slack key, it's a very easy listening. Not quite new age, but it's actually what's his name? The guy George Winston, the founder of that one new age label, actually recorded a lot of these musicians on his label because it is very close to new age. But it's more of a folk, very low key folk style
Genre, yeah. Okay.
Country folk.
And one more time, can you say what the name of it is? The type of music? What is it again?
It's called slack key.
Slack key.
Slack, SLACKKEY.
Okay, very good. Slack. I like the name. Now this to me, again, we're going back to the drama, and this to me really looks like a classic, something from the Greek, like the Minotaur or something. I mean, it's just really, really great. Tell us what this is, because I'm anxious myself to hear what this topic.
Okay, this is the hula, the Hawaiian dance, and this is actually one of two pieces. This is a diptych I did of the hula kahiko diptych. This is the hula kahiko kane, which is the Hawaiian dancer male, the male Hawaiian dancer, and the hula kahiko is the old style hula. There's the hula awana, which is the contemporary hula, contemporary Hawaiian dance. This is a depiction of the hula kahiko, which is the old style dance, Hawaiian dance.
May I ask about his headpiece? Could you describe it a little better? I mean, to me, it looks like an animal's head. I know it's not an animal per se, I don't believe, but to me, it resembles such. What would be the head covering? Do you know?
That's the lei. It's a lei that's worn on the head.
On the head.
Right. It's you got the lei piece. They go around one around his neck, around his two wrists, around his ankles, around his head.
So like
they make them out of various plant leaves and flowers. This one is made out of the maile. A maile is a very popular native plant that's made into leis.
It's like a crown, and he's got the necklace and the cuffs and on both the feet and the arms to kind of coordinate this whole outfit. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay, now here we see, I believe, we're going to see the female version. It might not be Hawaii of the hula, but this is more like a ballet dance. So tell us what we have here.
That's correct. This is the hula kahiko wahine, and that's the female Hawaiian dancer. And once again, like I said, this is the hula kahiko diptych, one male, one female. And so this is the female dancer, the hula kahiko diptych. And once again, she's wearing this. In this case, she's wearing floral leis. So they're made out of flowers rather than leaves. And so yeah. So this is the hula kahiko diptych.
All right. Well, I'll bring you back on for a little bit, folks. You've been watching and listening to Scott Gorrell, or Gorrell. I still don't know.
That's Gorrell.
Gorrell. Scott Gorrell, coming from the Big Island of Hawaii with his whole family, his dad, and an assortment of animals. So he's got them not only live, but he also has them on his work, and we're really appreciating that. Again, if you have any questions for us, Scott, as the other viewer did, just type them in on your comments in your chat. We'll go over with them and even show it like we did last time. But we're going to go ahead and pick up for a moment where we left off. Trying to get here we go. Oh, this is good. I like this one, folks. I think you will too as well. We're moving back into the water, and this is some form of, we usually say Galapagos for any turtle, even though it's not necessarily the case. What type of turtle do we have?
Okay, in Hawaiian, this is the honu. Honu is a sea turtle. This is the green sea turtle. And this one is a very early piece. This is the first turtle I did, and the second animal I did in the paper sculpture. I've done a few floral pieces before this one. So yeah, this is the
Excellent.
And
you're covering almost all the aquatic and the aerial animals. Here's what I love florals, and this is one of the ones I think you did a wonderful job. It looks a little bit like our southern magnolia, but I don't think it is. So, what type floral is this?
This is the hibiscus. This is the native Hawaiian hibiscus, the white hibiscus, and this is the second commercial piece I did. I did some orchids before this one, and this is the second commercial piece that I did.
Really nice. I didn't know. I have some hibiscus. I didn't know Hawaii had its own. And white is all about flowers of white. So that's just perfect. Really perfect. Now we have. I'm going to tell you, we have another question. Let me get it back up. And our question there asked, what type of, that's a good guess again, what type of paper are you using?
Okay. The paper I use only acid-free art papers, acid-free, and whenever I can, I use the archival papers. The acid-free adhesives, art adhesives. I use my earliest pieces actually were more watercolor. I started out using watercolor papers, and I've been kind of discovering as I go new papers to use. My favorite papers now are the printmaking papers, and they have the right weight, the right consistent, the right texture. Yeah, so for moldability, they work really well, I find. And I'm discovering more papers that have a little more color to them. As long as they're acid free and they'll maintain their integrity for the duration, I'll try using them. But yeah, so yeah.
Let's go ahead and go back and pick up because we're all moving along. Now this one is exquisite. Now this looks either some type of iris or an orchid. Excuse me, very formless. Certainly would look like a wedding flower, which I don't know that you live there in Hawaii, but certainly you grace any bride's bouquet in the U.S.
This is the very first commercial piece I did. I did about 3 or 4 experimental pieces, and then this was my first commercial piece, and this is a 2 orchids, and so yep, just at this point I was just using watercolor paper. It's all done in watercolor, and than the with the mat, of course. But yeah, so this is the very first commercial piece I did.
Did great. It is very good. And you would think, since it's all white with just traces of the black outlining, that it would be lost. But I think it even exaggerates the dimension of the 3D by So really, just a beautiful piece. Now this one is going to knock people's sock off because look at the color here. I don't think we've had this much color in any of it. Or maybe the gentleman doing the folk song had some, but it wasn't as noticeable as it did bird. Which owl is this? Another owl? I imagine.
This is the eastern bluebird. This is a bluebird. This was a commission piece for someone back east there. It's the eastern bluebird, and it's a fairly small piece. It's probably about 15 by 20 inches or so.
Nice.
But anyway, yeah. So it's that was just a cute little bluebird I did.
Well, that's good. It says you can have added the accent of the little white flower. Really,
A couple of blossoms there.
yeah, adds another dimension to the whole thing. So that's great. I mean, that'd be great for an office or side table at home or a little office table. Now we're back to the larger scale birds, and someone looks like some type of hawk. Is that what this is?
Now this is the Pueblo eagle dancer. Among the Hopi, Navajo, Pueblo, the southeastern Native American traditions, there's the eagle dance. And this was done for a friend of mine that lives in New Mexico. And
so realistic. I just realized now that the torso is beneath the bird, but I didn't see a head, so I thought this was all part of the feathers. That is interesting. It's a wonderful hybrid between mankind and animal life, even if it wasn't real animal. So, and that's from what area again? New Mexico? No.
Yeah, this is throughout the southeast U.S. The Pueblo who were in the Pueblo that I modeled this one on are primarily in southern New Mexico, northern Arizona, that area. And they in doing this dance, they believe they are traveling from our life to the next life. Or what I tried to show in that was he's traveling from his Pueblo to the sky, the cloud-filled sky.
The passage from one world to another. All right, folks. Now we said in the beginning about how versatile this artist is. We're going to bring up something now, and we've got several episodes of this in a few minutes. And if I got it right, it's called an ambigram. And I want Scott to explain to us what an ambigram is, and maybe tell us what we're looking at, because it actually usually involves at least a word, if not more. Tell us this process. What is an ambigram, and what are we looking at in this particular one?
That's right. It's an ambigram, and an ambigram is a type of logo which can be viewed in more than one direction. When I was in Alaska, when I lived in Alaska as a commercial artist, the primary thing I did were logos, and I didn't do ambigrams at that point. I was just doing traditional logos. But a few years ago, I became interested in ambigrams actually through the what's that guy's name? Oh, he did. Did Angels and Demons and the Da Vinci Code, and anyway, he used ambigrams in books there. But and that got me interested in them. But anyway, for this ambigram, if you're able to stand on your head, you'll see that it says the same thing upside down as it does right side up. And so that's what an ambigram is. You can view it more than one way, and it should be the same thing.
For those who are blind like myself, what would this say?
This says Tom and Gary.
Tom and Gary.
Right.
Okay. Wow. It's magnificent because it's so. I mean, it's like camouflage without being camouflage. I love it because it looks like old script, which I think is just super good. Just no one knows how to write in cursive anymore. So even though this is very stylized, let's take a look at a couple more of these before we go on. Now here's a good one. I like this one a lot.
This one says Big Island, Yep, the Big Island where I live, and I just did it as a fun one for the place I live. Same thing in Ambigram. So if you turn it upside down, it should read the same thing.
And are you doing this like on which size would some of these be done? They're not business cards; they're larger size than that. Huh? What would you be doing?
When I first started doing them, I was drawing them using pen and ink, and I did about half a dozen, 8 or so by pen and ink, and they were about. I was using drawing paper, which was probably 10 by 20 inches or so. And anyway, since I've gotten the Adobe Illustrator program, and I do them on my Adobe Illustrator now.
Now we're jumping again. This looks just like out of someone's real estate guide or something. It's a beautiful painting. Tell us what we
This was just to show that I do something other than paper sculpture. My sister and her husband would go back east to Florida and stay with in-laws back there, and she wanted to. A friend of the in-laws would let them stay at their house, and she wanted to give them a painting as a thank you gift. I did this painting of their house.
And what is this, an acrylic, or what medium would you use on this?
This one is oil.
Oil. Wow. Very vivid. A lot of oil doesn't really get that. That's one of the acrylics. Besides fast drying, they also seem to get such a huge vibrancy to the colors. That oil doesn't necessarily have. But so that's an amazing, because I would have sworn that was an acrylic painting.
Yeah, thank you. Yep, oil. You can get vibrancy in oil. It's just how you use each medium.
Well, you're an artist. I'm not. Okay, let's see what we got here.
I was interested in, since I was a kid, I was interested in what's called anamorphic art. And anyone that's gone through the art pages through the internet, anamorphic art is used by street artists and such to create a three-dimensional look. You look at it from an angle and it creates a three-dimensional look. But I was more interested in trying to create different images at different views, and I was interested in trying to create landscape in one view and figurescapes in another. But I'm still working that out. It's not quite worked to my liking yet.
I would call it an abstract, so I'm glad you explained it. But I think it qualifies well as an abstract, and it looks great regardless. So it's so different from everything else you've showed us. This is what's so amazing. Like I say, how diverse you really can be.
And again, this is oil. And that's the side view of the same piece. The first piece was supposed to depict more of a landscape, and this is supposed to depict more of a figure. And this is, again, in oil.
Oil, yeah, wow. And is it on canvas or some other material, medium?
This is on canvas.
Okay, excellent. Now, folks.
Okay, I'm going to bring my dad in. My dad is a saddle maker, and he's the one that inspired me to do my work here. Dad, do you want to talk about your here, Dad, why don't you take this chair here and where you can get closer to the camera.
Okay, yeah, we heard a little bit about the gentleman in your intro. Let's see if we can picture it. There we go. So, may we ask your name?
Say again?
May we ask your name?
Your name?
Name is Pete. Pete Gorrell.
Okay. All right. Got it. And how did you get into making saddles, excuse me?
I just, life is a river. You go with the flow. And I enjoyed working with my hands. And when I was a little kid, I used to do little wood carvings and miscellaneous things, braiding with the camp stuff and things like that. And I ended up getting in with some people that did leather work and did saddles. And I picked up the trade from them, from a man named Clarence Wilson. And he was a fine leather artist. And so I picked it up from him, and then got to where I thought I knew what I was doing, and later proved that I didn't. But I decided to go into business, so I opened a saddle shop and went on just like that, and it just built.
We're going to take a close look on it again since you finished narrating it. And I have to ask the question that the other folks asked Scott about, and I know this is going to be substantial. What do you think the average time to create one of these masterpieces would be? Years?
Well, a basic saddle will usually take me about 60 hours.
60 hours, that's all?
Yeah, just a basic plain
Okay.
raw bone saddle.
The one we're looking at, I wouldn't consider that basic.
The one that you're looking at in that picture there, I probably had, I would say 120, 130 hours in it or something like that.
Well,
if
like,
you through the time of drawing the patterns, because our patterns are all original. And so if you draw the patterns and all that, it ends up to being more.
so it's like twice the number of hours that an average saddle would be, at least twice.
Yeah, just the average basic, perfectly plain saddle. That's the construction.
I have a lot of people that ride horses that I imagine in Hawaii they don't do, huh?
Well, they do, but the Hawaiians have a style of saddle that is, unique to them.
The other picture I sent you is the Hawaiian saddle.
There we go. Is that what they call it?
It's a fascinating history in that cattle were first brought over as a gift to King Kamehameha in 1793, and then in the early 1800s they multiplied to numbers where they were overrunning everything, and so the kapu that had been put on them to protect them was lifted, and in 1833 there were Spanish that came over, or Mexican, the Kettles, that came over to teach the Hawaiians how to handle horses, how to handle cattle, brought with them their saddles and things like that. And at that time, leather was not readily available. And so the Hawaiians used their own materials, and they had a lot of rawhide, not tanned leather, but the raw hide. And they used that to make their riggings and so on. It's called the avi-avi rigging. And each island has their own unique style. But this, when I came over and I learned to make Hawaiian saddles, it was taught by a man over here. Their work is all very plain and maybe had a border stamp of a tool repetitively stamped around the edge. And I wanted to use the Western style of carving on a Hawaiian style saddle, and that's how I made this saddle. It was just as a piece to combine the Western style of carving. But as you can see, the style is not, it's, that large tailpiece and things like that all have a part to them.
Yeah, what is that? So you really fused the two, the West with Hawaii. I see. Excellent.
Yeah.
But the part that would be, I guess, for the back support, I'm not sure if it's just decorative. What is that? Is that made out of leather? It looks like wood or something. I can't make it out myself.
Well, the tree is wood covered with raw hide. Raw hide is just the hide of the cow with the hair.
Referring to that right there. Yeah, that's leather.
Oh, that piece is leather. Yeah, this tree itself, the foundation is wood covered with raw hide, and but the leather is applied afterwards. That tailpiece that sticks back that far is symbolic of the Spanish war saddle, which was what the early Spaniards had when they came over in the 1830s. And it's interesting how things integrated. Scott was talking about the old style hula as compared to the more modern hula. Well, that also came with the ability to play a guitar, which Hawaiians never had anything except percussion instrument, boards and drums and so on. And they, when the Spanish came, brought guitars with them, and the ones picked up instrumental type of music. And when the Spanish left a few years later, they left guitars, but they did not leave the overall knowledge how to tune the Spanish guitar. And so the Hawaiians tuned it to their own ears, which was a beginning of what's called slack key guitar, where they slack off the keys a little bit.
Well, you've done not only very, I mean, just extremely talented. I mean, that's a hell of a lot of work, but also you're a phenomenal historian for your island there. And so I'm glad if anyone want to watch, sees this after the fact, you know, doesn't watch it live, you've got a really good history lesson by using the product that you've developed or created and relating it back to how its origins were in our historical context. So it's really very, very nice. So we appreciate your intervention. And now, and these, I mean, I'm sure they're prized pieces, but these could actually be used on a horse. Is that right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Everything could be used in any way on a horse. I don't make them as a decoration. And actually anymore, I'm no longer making saddles due to eyesight and age and a few things.
I understand that totally.
Yeah, but we still do small leather pieces and things like that. Did a lot of notebooks and, you know, other carved things, belts, what have you.
Okay, well, let's if you don't mind, we got to run, so I'm going to like to. Can we get Scott back in the picture so we can tell him farewell and thanks? Thank you, sir, again very much for your connotation and explanation. Well, Scott, I've really enjoyed it. Like I say, I didn't expect to get a history lesson as well. I wish I could. Of course, I can't speak any of those terms you called everything, but at least a few of them I've guessed correctly. That's the important
If
part.
I can inject one other thing relating what you referred to as the history lesson, there is, and it's on the, you can look it up on the internet, on computers and so on, the Paniolo Preservation Society. And they have a small museum in Hawaii where they have a large selection of old Hawaiian saddles. And if people are interested in that and they have a chance to come, it's a very worthwhile little museum to go to.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that as well. And hopefully someone will have the time to actually get back over there. All right, Scott, before we go, of course, I want you to, even though we've been flashing it across the bottom of the screen, I want you to tell everyone how they can reach you and anything else before we go ahead and say goodbye.
Okay, you can reach me through my website at www.scottgorrellart.com. You can see my artwork there as well as on my Facebook page. And if you're on Hawaii, you can see my artwork at the Dreams of Paradise Gallery in Hilo. That's the Dreams of Paradise in Hilo, Hawaii. And yeah, and hopefully I'll be going out into some other. I've been in about half a dozen various galleries, but currently I'm only in the one. But
well, we're pleased that the as I told Scott, but cautioned Scott before, the internet is a little flaky nowadays with the multi-millions of people at home using the internet. And we had a brief interruption to the show, but today, perfect. I'm so pleased. So with that, we're not plagued by it. The internet was allowing us to get through the whole show without any kind of interference. We do once again want to
thank cats and dogs. Just a couple of interference by cats and dogs.
yeah. Right. Anyway, we'll ignore that. We're going to go ahead and tell you farewell and aloha, I guess. And we really appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much for sharing your talent and your father's talent. And I think very, very well appreciated. So we'll be talking to you soon, I'm sure. Okay.
Well, thank you, Bob. I appreciate the time you've given us, and thanks a lot. And aloha from Hawaii.
Thank you. We love it. All right, folks. There we are. Here with me. That was a real trip through history with Scott's father, as well as tremendous variety of art. Where are you going to get that? All in one store. It's like Woolworths or something of old days where you had a little bit of everything. So here's an artist that just didn't gravitate from oil to acrylics or something. He really gravitated total different genres. So paper sculpting, showed his talent in oil painting, showed his talent in ambigrams, which even though it can be assisted by software programs today, it also he showed at the beginning how he did it by hand. So it is a talent. And lastly, both he and his father in the saddle making business, even though it seems like they're retired, but the same thing. Those themselves look like pieces of art. All the engravings, the carvings, and the names of each of the pieces of saddles. I think anyone who's a horseman or a horse lady would certainly appreciate knowing those are different types that they don't experience necessarily here in the U.S. All right, folks. Well, before we go, we want to thank you for watching Artist Review. We're so glad to bring it back on to you and to have an international artist today. First one in our new launch. So we're hoping to continue going around the world finding artists, not just local ones, but USA ones. I think that's all our programming for this week, unfortunately. We're still on the residue of the virus where we're not getting a lot of, but we've already got several commitments, as you've seen if you watch our promos for next week. So we've got a return of our gardening show on Thursday. We've got another chef on Tuesday, I believe. Anyway, watch for the promos at all the platforms, and we're hoping to get with us. So we're trying to get you as many of these programs. Remember, we have 15. It's all dependent on you providing us with either yourself or a reference for someone who's got any kind of talent that we can fit into our categories, and they can come on and present, as well as some of the ongoing ones like the gardening realty shows. Those are really looking for permanent or as permanent as life will allow co-hosts, as opposed to a different guest each week. So if you know anyone that would be interested in this, it doesn't cost them anything. In today's, they don't have to go buy any kind of equipment. Everything's already being used by them personally or in their own business. So send them to the big deal. Send them to me at my email, bob@rrevue.net, not com. bob@rrevue.net. You know, that's the name of our production company. Or through Facebook under Bob Bob. Okay? Until we meet again, I guess we'll say just like Scott did. Aloha. Aloha. Aloha.